The quiet in our family's fancy New York apartment was heavy. On the big TV screen behind Dad's chair, business news was talking about my company's first day on the stock market. TechFlow had just opened at 3 times what experts thought it would. 32, I was now one of New York's youngest billionaires. As I was saying, Dad continued, his voice tight as he tried to ignore the news celebrating my success. You're not ready for serious business, Maya. The family company needs someone with real experience. The irony was sweet. Here we were at our family meeting where they always told me why I wasn't good enough to join Sterling Global Partners. Meanwhile, the payment app I'd built in a small Brooklyn apartment was changing how the world handles money. TechFlow's smart computer system is breaking down old banking, the news reporter said. CEO Maya Sterling has a bold vision. Mom grabbed the remote and turned off the sound, as if that could make reality go away. Maya, sweetheart, she said sweetly, her expensive necklace shining under the light. These tech companies fail quickly. Now, about that entry-level job we talked about. Entry-level. The job they thought would teach me real finance. After my business degree, after 3 years of no-sleep building what was now a multi-billion-dollar company. My phone buzzed, probably another message from a big investor or a note from a Fortune 500 CEO. Instead, it was from my brother, Alex, the favorite child and heir to the Sterling Empire. Family image is important. Don't talk about the company value. Stay quiet. I looked at him across the table, his jaw tight above his expensive tie. 6 months ago, he'd laughed when I said computers would be the backbone of future money systems. Computers will never replace relationships, he'd said. Finance is built on handshakes and trust. Yet here we were. TechFlow was processing more deals in an hour than Sterling Global managed in 3 months. Another buzz. BlackRock wanted a meeting. Goldman Sachs, too. Dad cleared his throat, trying to stay in control. Maya, this tech experiment, time to focus on your real future. The family legacy. Their favorite chain, the one they tried to wrap around my neck. Until today, Sterling Global Partners had managed money the same way for almost 100 years. Over drinks, on golf courses, through handshakes in fancy meeting rooms. The entry-level position, Mom tried again, her pearls catching the Manhattan light. We'll teach you our ways. Your ways. I finally spoke, pulling up TechFlow's live numbers on my phone. You mean like taking 3 days to process deals our computer completes in seconds? Or losing clients to automated systems while you're playing golf? Across the table, my brother Alex shifted in his expensive suit. His jaw was tight. Last week, 3 of Sterling Global's biggest accounts had moved their money to TechFlow. This isn't about speed, Dad said, voice rising. It's about experience and judgment. Right on cue, the muted TV screen behind him came alive. Breaking news. TechFlow worth $12 billion. Mom scrambled for the remote, but not before the reporter's voice cut through. CEO Maya Sterling's game-changing platform is redefining global finance, leaving old firms struggling. That's enough, Dad snapped, face red with anger. This family meeting is about your future with Sterling Global. No, I said calmly, standing up. This meeting is about your refusal to accept that the future already happened. While you were planning my training, I built something that made your entire business outdated. Maya Catherine Sterling. Mom's voice cracked with practiced disappointment. This is your inheritance. My inheritance? I laughed, pointing to the screen still flashing TechFlow's meteoric rise. I didn't inherit this. I created it. My phone buzzed again. Another alert. Morgan Stanley wanted a meeting. Goldman Sachs, too. Potential buyout offers in the billions. This isn't how family businesses work, Alex muttered weakly. No, I agreed, putting my phone in my bag. This is how change works. Those who adapt survive. The rest don't. I let the sentence hang in the marble silence as I walked toward the elevator. Behind me, the TV numbers climbed higher, each digit a reminder of how wrong they'd been. Where are you going? Dad demanded. We're not finished. Actually, I said over my shoulder. We are. I have a board meeting for that little tech experiment you thought would fail. Mom tried one last time. Maya. The Sterling name is doing just fine. I cut in. Check the headlines. Just not the ones you wanted. As I walked toward the waiting car on Fifth Avenue, my phone buzzed again. Another message from Alex. Dad's having chest pains. This public shame is killing him. I deleted it without reading more. Public shame was their worry, not mine. I had a financial empire to run. Miss Sterling. My assistant's voice came through my earpiece. The Wall Street Journal wants an exclusive. Their headline. The daughter who reinvented banking while her family looked away. A laugh slipped out as I got into the back of the luxury car. I thought of all those family meetings filled with talking down advice. Start small. Learn the basics. Be realistic. Tell them, I said, putting on my seatbelt, that the best business lesson I ever learned was to ignore the people who swore I wasn't ready. Through the windows of the Sterling home, I could still see their shapes gathered around the massive TV. The muted screen glowing with TechFlow's value climbing higher every second. Their old-fashioned world was crumbling in real time. Sometimes the loudest response to doubt isn't words, it's undeniable success. And sometimes the daughter they dismiss becomes the game-changer they can't stop. The Financial Times headlines splashed across every screen. Sterling Global loses clients as daughter's AI platform dominates market. Their stock crashed before Wall Street even opened. I watched the chaos unfold from TechFlow's headquarters, a 65-story glass tower overlooking Hudson Yards. Its design was as futuristic as the technology powering it. My command center's wall-sized dashboard streamed real-time money flows, billions shifting from old firms to our platform every hour. Your father's been calling every executive he knows, my chief of staff reported. He's even reaching out to our board through LinkedIn. And Alex, I asked without looking up. Trying to steal our engineers, offering double salaries. I laughed softly. He still doesn't get it. They're not here for money. They're here to rewrite the rules. A knock on the door. Miss Sterling, my assistant appeared. BlackRock CEO is on line 1. And, your mother's in the lobby. The ultimate fixer. Perfect smile. Tailored designer suit. The same woman who spent years smoothing over whispers at the club about her wayward daughter dabbling in tech. Send BlackRock to conference room A, I said coolly, standing. Mom can wait. The pearls were in place, but her fingers couldn't stop fidgeting with the handle of her designer bag. Maya, darling, she started strong, then faltered as her eyes swept across the room. Floor-to-ceiling screens glowed with streams of real-time data. Billions of dollars in motion. AI programs making investment decisions in milliseconds. The very future she once dismissed as a fad. Hello, Mom, I said, not offering her a seat. Here to finalize my entry-level position? She flinched. Your father's not well. This public spectacle. Clients are leaving. You mean the clients who chose 21st century tech over golf course deals? I swiped to display TechFlow's latest numbers on the main screen. We weren't just processing trades. We were predicting global market shifts with 99.97% accuracy. Something Sterling Global's experience and judgment could never match. Alex is drinking again, she tried, voice trembling. The stress of watching everything collapse. Everything you refused to modernize. I finished for her. Everything I tried to save before you told me I wasn't ready for real business. My phone buzzed with another alert. Sterling Global had just lost its largest client to us. What do you want? The perfect act cracked. Name your price. We'll make you a partner immediately. I laughed softly, gesturing to the glowing dashboards. Mom, I'm not interested in holding onto a sinking ship. I own the ocean now. Behind me, the AI flashed fresh stats. In the last hour alone, TechFlow had processed more wealth transfers than Sterling Global handled in an entire year. You're destroying your father's legacy, she whispered. No, I said, turning to meet her eyes. I'm building the future you couldn't imagine. My assistant appeared at the door. Miss Sterling, BlackRock is on line 1. Morgan Stanley's CEO just arrived for the partnership briefing. Her eyes widened. the same firms that had stopped returning her calls months ago. "You should go," I said, gathering my tablet. "I have actual business to run." "Maya, please." Her voice cracked. "We're family." I paused. "Were you family when you muted my success? When you tried to give me an entry-level job? When you told everyone I wasn't ready for real business?" Right on cue, my phone lit up with another alert. TechFlow's value had just shattered $15 billion. Sterling Global's board had called an emergency meeting. The end of an era had begun. Hours later, I walked into the Sterling Global boardroom. The dark wood, the heavy curtains, it felt like a funeral home for a dynasty. I sat at the head of their table as the directors scrolled through TechFlow's offer. "These numbers," Alex muttered. "This can't be right." "Oh, it's right," I said, pulling up the real-time value on the screen. "We're offering 30 cents on the dollar. Generous, considering your client exodus." Dad's hands shook as he read the terms. The once mighty Sterling patriarch now sat hunched over, reviewing a takeover engineered by the daughter he once called unprepared. "You want to destroy the Sterling name?" Mom whispered, horror trembling in her voice. "No," I corrected calmly. "I want to evolve it." Sterling Global becomes a division of TechFlow, a very small one. My phone buzzed. Bloomberg wanted an exclusive. Their suggested headline, "TechFlow acquires legacy firm. How the daughter they dismissed built a financial empire." The irony tasted sweeter than any victory I had imagined. "The papers are ready," my attorney said, sliding the thick stack of buyout documents across the same fancy table where they once told me I wasn't ready for real business. I remembered their words like fresh wounds. "Dad, finance is about relationships, not computers." "Mom, tech is for startups, not serious wealth." "Darling, this isn't your world." Now silence filled the room as I signed the final page. "Sterling Global is mine," I announced evenly. "Transition begins tomorrow. Our tech team arrives at 8 a.m. By month's end, this building becomes TechFlow's East Coast headquarters." "You're destroying everything," Dad said weakly. "No," I said, pulling up our integration plans on the wall screen. "I'm fixing everything, starting with your outdated definition of modern finance." The next morning, I watched from my new corner office as workers took down the old Sterling signs outside. Below, streams of TechFlow engineers entered, young, diverse, carrying tablets that powered the AI making traditional wealth management obsolete. "Alex is here for orientation," my assistant reported. "Your father's waiting to discuss his consulting role." I found them in what used to be Dad's office, now stripped of its leather and brass prestige. Alex looked stiff in business casual, our company dress code. Dad just looked small. "Your positions," I began, pulling up their contracts. "Alex, you'll start in computer training. Learn how modern trading actually works. Dad, advisory board, non-voting. You'll help transition old clients while discovering why they've been leaving." As they stared in disbelief, my phone buzzed with congratulations from industry titans worldwide. Many included the same observation. Old money doesn't disappear. It evolves or it gets replaced. "Still think I wasn't ready for real business?" I asked softly. Alex's voice broke the silence. "We were wrong. Spectacularly wrong," I added, walking toward the launch room. The space buzzed with energy. Screens pulsed with cascading data and a live global feed awaited. My team of innovators, a mix of talent and vision, stood ready. Each one brilliant. Each one part of the revolution that had made traditional wealth management irrelevant. "Welcome to the new Sterling building," I began, stepping onto the platform. "Today, we transform a symbol of outdated finance into a beacon of innovation." In the back, Mom slipped in. Her perfect makeup couldn't hide the tiredness. I knew why. She'd spent the morning canceling country club memberships they could no longer afford. 5 years ago, this firm told me I wasn't ready for business, I said, voice steady. Today, we prove that the future often comes from those the past underestimates. The screens behind me lit up, displaying TechFlow's global reach. AI systems managing more wealth in a single day than Sterling Global had in its most profitable year. The next generation of finance isn't about golf courses and handshakes, I concluded. It's about innovation, automation, and the courage to disrupt outdated thinking. That night, I sat in my new office, once my father's domain. On the wall hung two frames, the buyout papers and the business news screenshot of my IPO they once tried to mute. Dad appeared in the doorway, shoulders heavy, voice softer than I'd ever heard. The new systems, they're extraordinary. They're what I tried to show you years ago, I said quietly, before you decided I wasn't ready. He stared at the glowing dashboards as billions moved in real time. We should have seen. You should have listened, I corrected. My phone buzzed. A text from Alex. Finally understand why you left. This isn't wealth management. It's a revolution. I smiled, thinking of every time they dismissed me. Miss Sterling, my assistant returned. Tomorrow, global launch of our hedge fund AI, and the contractors want to know what to do with the old trading floor. I glanced at Dad's precious fancy desk, the one he swore I'd never be qualified to touch. Clear it out, I said. The future doesn't need old relics. Remember this. Never let tradition define your future. The world changes for those who dare to lead. Stay bold, stay visionary, and keep building the life they said you couldn't.